How's it going, guys? Medium difficulty question, repro, obs guide, steps 1 and 2. We have a 17-year-old girl with anorexia leading to amenorrhea. Clearly has a low BMI. She's long distance runner. And this question is literally just asking what's the mechanism for the amenorrhea secondary to anorexia, okay? So doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if you've got low BMI, low adipose tissue, then you're going to have decreased estrogen and you're going to have increased osteoclast activity as a result. You need to know not only metatarsal stress fractures, but that you can also get increased risk of osteoporosis later in life in girls who have low BMI. 2CK psych forms will actually take this to the next level, make it a bit more difficult. They'll give you a BMI at 20. That's not even low, okay? Under 18.5 is technically underweight. They'll give you, there's a question where it's 19, there's a question where it's 20, and they say, what's the patient at increased risk for? And later in life, the answer is osteoporosis. You have to eliminate to get there. Sounds weird? I'm telling you the questions exist, okay? So increased risk of osteoporosis, increased risk of metatarsal stress fractures, and we would have increased osteoclast activity. Normally, estrogen is going to decrease cytokine activity at bone, namely IL-1, okay? So IL-1 is known as osteoclast activating factor. So estrogen will decrease the rank L expression. Okay, so when you have rank L on the osteoblast binding to rank receptor on osteoclast, then you can get bone resorption. And estrogen, when present, will normally upregulate OPG, a rank receptor decoy. The point is, you're going to have increased osteoclast activity in lower estrogen states. So looking at these top answers here, now we say leptin, okay? Now what does leptin do? It normally makes you feel full. So if you have low BMI, you would contend that maybe she's more hungry, OMG, okay? So leptin levels are actually low in anorexia, and they want you to know that it's the low leptin levels that are responsible for the abnormal GnRH pulsation that we see, okay? Now, I don't want to go off on too much of a digression. Those of you who try to link the mechanisms of polycystic ovarian syndrome and anorexia in terms of leptin levels, underweight versus overweight, don't do that. The mechanisms are disparate. Okay, I talk about them in my PDF, which I'll link below. But just for the sake of this clip, you need to know that the low leptin levels, due to the low BMI in anorexia, are what cause abnormal GnRH pulsation. And if they force you to choose, it's going to be decreased GnRH pulsation. This is called hypogonadotropic amenorrhea, or central amenorrhea. And this last part, not difficult, but students fuck this up, is you need to know that FSH is decreased, okay, because it's central. So the abnormal GnRH pulsation is causing decreased LH and decreased FSH, okay? I say it's a little bit tricky because students tend to associate high FSH with amenorrhea, okay? So if you have a primary ovarian pathology, such as Turner syndrome, or you have premature ovarian failure, the decreased estrogen production by the ovaries, you're going to have decreased negative feedback at the hypothalamus, anterior pituitary, FSH goes up. So if you have primary hypogonadism, then you're going to have high FSH. Okay, physiologically, if you have menopause, high FSH, that's exceedingly high yield as well. If you have a perimenopausal woman, you're going to check serum FSH, it's going to be increased. Okay, physiologically for menopause, pathologically for Turner premature ovarian failure. And of course, in men, Klinefelter, high FSH as well. But this is central amenorrhea, as I said. This is hypogonadotropic amenorrhea, so FSH is decreased. And they'll do that. They'll give you the same question here, and then they'll have just arrows for FSH and estrogen. It's down arrow FSH, down arrow estrogen, okay? So in summary, we're going to have increased osteoclast activity because we have a low estrogen state, decreased leptin because she's got low BMI. She's going to be hungry, quote unquote. The low leptin is going to cause abnormal GnRH pulsation. There's a threshold leptin level that's required for normal GnRH pulsation. You can think of it as if she's not sufficient BMI, then the body is not wanting to reproduce at that moment. And then FSH is decreased because we have central amenorrhea. You know the deal. To make more content, look at my subscription. Appreciate your time. That's it.